Today we're going to talk about 5 Mercari tips that are going to help you sell more and make more money. Now, Mercari is a super underrated e-commerce platform, and it rivals the likes of eBay and Poshmark as the second biggest selling platform behind only Amazon. Now, it's not quite as big as eBay yet, but it is well on its way to be. So hop on this platform right now, if you're not already on it, and use the tips that we'll talk about in today's video to start carving out your piece of the pie while it's still fresh. Now, briefly before we jump in, I am running a pre-Black Friday sale on Online Arbitrage Pro 3.0, where it's 70% off, and that is the lowest it's ever been. You can take advantage of it through the first link in the description, but this is your last chance to take advantage of this offer. It will only be around for about 24 hours longer. Again, it is a pre-Black Friday, 70% off. Okay, so tip number 1 now is to list your prices high. By listing your prices higher than normal or higher than retail value, you'll be able to accumulate more views and more likes. You'll also then be able to use the most valuable tool that Mercari gives sellers, which is the promote button. If you list your prices too low, not only will you miss out on chances to sell your products for more initially, but you'll also miss out on the chance to continue to promote your products to the people that have viewed and liked your listings. Now, the reason for this is because Mercari stops you from promoting at a certain price point where it's no longer profitable for them. So by listing your prices higher, you'll get an opportunity to sell them for more profit initially, obviously. You'll then get an opportunity to promote more times over the lifespan of that particular listing. And you'll also be able to drive up the perceived value of your item so that if you do make an offer through the promotion button in the future, well, there'll be more perceived value on the customer's end. That ties me into tip number 2, which is to promote. Promoting my listings is the single best way that I sell on Mercari. Now, sure, every once in a while, I just list something and it sells right away, maybe because there was either higher demand on the marketplace than usual for that item, or one of my followers saw it and they wanted it for whatever reason. But most of the time, I have to use the promote button to drive sales and increase my visibility on the platform. Now, there's 2 main ways to promote your listings on Mercari. Now, the first one is to promote to likers by making an offer lower than the listing price. And this will send a notification to all those likers on that listing that you've offered the item they've shown interest in by liking it to them exclusively for a lower price, right? The second is to promote it site-wide, and this drops your listing permanently 5% lower than its current price, and you won't be able to raise it back up. Although the benefit of that is that Mercari will start to promote your listing across the platform to more people that they believe might be interested in your listing. Now, promoting to likers is a great way to drive sales. Promoting site-wide is a great way to potentially make more sales, obviously, but more so I use it to accumulate more likes and eyes on my listings so that I can promote in the future and sell them to those likers in the future. None of this matters though if you've already listed your item too low, because the higher you list your item, the more promotions and the more times, obviously, you can use the promote button in the future. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to, list stuff at outrageous prices to, be able to promote hundreds and hundreds of times, right? But it does mean that you'll want to list everything higher than you believe, its perceived value is, or whatever it's worth, or what you think it will sell, right? So then you want to use, once you do list it higher, like we talked about, then you want to use the promotions to drive interest and drive sales. Tip number 3 is to accumulate reviews. Now, just like any e-commerce platform, the more social proof that you have as a seller, well, the easier it will be to actually then sell. Now, this means potentially selling stuff in the future and initially for less profit than maybe you might have wanted to, just for the positive review. The more reviews you accumulate, the higher you can price stuff in the future, and the less buyers will think twice about purchasing from you in that future. Now, don't get me wrong. When I first started selling on Mercari, I sold practically everything for a profit, and most items I did actually list higher than that. Although there were also plenty of items that I took ridiculously low offers on or sold for zero profit or like 10 cents profit, because I understood that those sales would then lead to more 5-star reviews, which would then obviously lead to more sales at higher prices in the future. Now, when most buyers come to my store, well, they don't even think twice about purchasing anything because they see the social proof and they just innately trust. And this tip is super crucial no matter what platform you're selling on, but especially on Mercari. Tip number 4 is very similar to that last tip, obviously, and that is to accumulate each one of the seller badges or as many of the seller badges as possible. And they also display on your store's homepage along with the reviews and will help increase your store's social proof on the platform. These badges include the Member Since badge. So mine specifically says Member Since 2017, since that's when I joined. Now, I joined in 2017, and I don't think I ever listed anything until late 2018, early 2019. But obviously, this isn't something that's super, super important. So this is probably the least important badge. Really all it displays is, how long and how trustworthy your store's been being for an extended period of time, obviously assuming that you've been doing it for a while. So you really don't have to worry about this one too much, although it can help as you build a store into the future. The second one is a fast responder badge. To get this badge, you'll want to respond to all messages in a timely fashion. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have the app open every minute, checking it to make sure that you're not getting messages, okay? But what it does mean is that if you do see one of those push notifications and those little red notifications next to the Mercari app, well then check it because it could be a message. And it could also be a sale as well, which would be great for you, right? So the faster you respond to these messages, not only will you get the potential badge, but it will also result in happier customers, which will then result in more reviews and better reviews for you in the future. The third one is the Quick Shipper badge, and this is pretty self-explanatory. Customers like fast shipping. So do your best to ship products out on the days that they've been ordered. Now, if this, or really realistically, if you can't do that, as fast as you possibly can. The last one is the Reliable badge, and you can get this badge by having a large majority of your orders delivered to buyers, which is pretty self-explanatory as well. Now, that means basically just don't cancel any orders or cancel very few orders, or, don't get any orders that are lost in the mail. So obviously that goes without saying, and this is pretty easy to control, but this is another one that you can get pretty easily if you're not drop shipping or anything like that. You shouldn't really worry about too many canceled orders or, undelivered orders or anything like that. Most sellers are going to be able to get this one fairly quickly. And badges play a big part in customer trust on Mercari, so if you can, go out and try to get that. Finally, tip number 5 is to offer free shipping. Now, I talk a lot about offering more listing value than your competitors, regardless of if those competitors are actually on that same platform or a completely different platform. Now, that means that you're not only competing with other Mercari sellers for a sale, but it means that you're competing against other sellers across other platforms that are selling similar items everywhere, okay? So that means online, retail, Amazon, Poshmark, any other site, any similar listing you're competing on, okay? So since companies like Amazon and others have really kind of reset the market and most buyers now expect fast and free shipping, well, it really makes your listings more attractive to the buyer if you also offer fast and free shipping. That's where that comes into play. So there you have it, guys. 5 tips to sell more on Mercari and make more money on the platform. I hope you got a lot of value out of this video, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like and a thumbs up. Also, I'd love to hear from other, sellers out there and other perspectives. What is your number 1 tip? If you could only give one, what's your best tip so that other sellers can sell better on the platform like you? Let me know down in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one.